David. Now,
Yeah.
2 days ago was one of the best holidays ever that I think should be a national holiday. It's Kobe Day.
You're right.
Kobe Day, 8/24, Kobe Bryant. And that's how we're going to start this show out. We're going to start talking about one of the greatest players to ever play the game there is, Kobe Bean Bryant. But well, first off, before we get our plugs in, did you celebrate Kobe Day?
I watched a couple of Kobe highlights. I watched the series or so. I mean, I think I did him justice.
Hey, look, that's all I asked for. Just on Kobe Day, I just asked that you watch a few highlights, pay your respects to my dog. That's all I asked. But look, everybody, welcome in to another episode of Here's the Deal, our NBA edition of the week. Before we get started, make sure before you listen to this, you go follow us. You can follow me at Mike_White Jr. on Twitter. David, get your plugs out. Where can they find you?
_ King Cole with an X. That's on Twitter. Go ahead, follow your boy.
All right, there we go. Make sure you go follow us right away for all our takes on all things sports. But let's jump right into it, man. 2 days ago, like I was saying, it was Kobe Day, 8/24. Look, man, I've been meaning to get some stuff off my chest because it's just so much disrespect. So much disrespect put on my dog, Kobe, and I just don't know why. I was having a debate with this guy on Twitter. It was Kobe Bryant and James Harden. Now, I know this might touch a little spot, because that's your dude.
Hey.
But I was just like, yo, what is your reason? He said the only reason Kobe is ranked higher than James Harden right now is because Kobe had Shaq. And I was like, wait.
No.
I was like, wait, hold on. So I said, so even if I entertain that, what about the other two rings? What you gonna tell me? Kobe had Gasol, and he ain't never tweet me back. I just don't understand the disrespect that my dog gets. And I'm a Harden fan, like I always tell you. I like James Harden, but Kobe Bryant is one of the most disrespected, greatest players of all time. Why do you think Kobe gets so much disrespect, bro? What is it that people don't like about this man?
Part of it is exactly what you were just talking about, that Shaq thing, that thing that Shaq was the reason Kobe had his first 3 rings, and Kobe's missing 3 Finals MVPs due to that. So I mean, people hold that against him, and I mean, I don't think it's right at all. I mean, everybody in the NBA except for like Dirk or maybe Hakeem, like everybody else at least had that second go-to guy or that second scorer on their team. Like you have to have at least 2. Usually it's 3. Usually, you got a whole squad down there, like the Warriors. They're out there jumping LeBron and Kyrie or something like that. So you always got to have at least two stars out there for you to win a championship. So I never, agreed with that whole take. And I think that's a lot of the hate that he gets because, I mean, Kobe has like 2 separate careers. You got the 8 and you got the 24. Like it's Kobe Day. You got the 8 and you got the 24. So you split up his careers. And you have the pre Kobe before he went 24. He went bald, all that good stuff. Froby. I mean, if you really was watching basketball back in the, you know how special that was because that athletically Kobe was just different then.
Yeah, I was about to say that was athletic Kobe.
Yeah. But I think that's part of the reason, the whole Shaq thing. The other reason I think it's because he's a more skilled MJ, and people don't want to accept that. Like he is more skilled than MJ. He may not, be as efficient and things like that, but that's due to the way the game evolved. I think Kobe played in a time where it was harder. It's probably the hardest time to score in the league. Honestly, you had a lot of great wing defenders. And I mean, he still was an efficient player. And I hate when people say Kobe wasn't efficient. For as much as that man was doing and the numbers he was putting up, even if you look at that time, he was one of the most efficient players on the court. And I mean, people talk about, we all know he has a killer instinct. If you watch the game of basketball and if you truly know something about basketball, you know Kobe has that killer instinct. You know he's the next thing to MJ when it comes to that regard. But the whole, people go into stats and things like that. Kobe wasn't clutch because, the game wasn't when they're tied within 3 points and there's 2 minutes. Like, no, watch the game. How about we do that? Like, it's more than to being clutch than just looking at some numbers that say, he shot better during this time of the game. Like, it's a lot more than that. And people don't like to think nowadays. People don't like to go in depth with why these numbers are like this. Or, let's look at the game where the game is 80 to 82. It's just a different type of game being played at the time. Like
Right.
nowadays, it's a lot more free flowing. It's a lot more, not hand checking, things like that. So people are going to shoot better. People are going to be able to get their shots off easier, things like that. So it's just, it's people aren't willing to break down the game nowadays. That's what I think it is. A lot of laziness out there, and a lot of people, LeBron stands, they definitely play a part, and that's just a whole nother issue right there. They don't want to see anybody be greater than that, man. So they're going to do whatever it takes. They say Kobe was never the best player in the game. I've heard that, and that's just next level if you ask me, because he's the best player at least for a good 5-6 years.
You can call it what it really is, David. It's idiotic. We're just gonna call it what it is. It's idiotic. But I'm glad you brought up that point. Like, the game is different. Like, people, I don't want to say all people, because that's not right, but it's crazy. I'm starting to see my age when I be on Twitter now. I'm starting to realize your boy getting old, because some of these people on Twitter, like, yo.
It's a whole bunch of 14-year-olds, man. Like, it's a whole bunch of little kids.
Yeah, man. And they don't understand, like, yo, the game is different. Like, the game now is predicated towards the offense. Just like in football, it's predicated towards the offense. Offense makes the money. That's what people want to see. So the rules are bent towards the offense. Like you said, offenses are more free flowing. They're getting up more threes. They've tripled down on the Steve Nash Phoenix Suns type of offense. They've tripled down on, like, that. It's different. Like you said, there's no hand checking. You can barely guard anybody in the league now. There's none of that. Back when Kobe was playing, when Kobe was in the prime of his career, that was the time where a lot of the teams, not all of them, but you had that one guy on your team who you go to, who takes the bulk of the shots. That was the time of ISO scoring, where, okay, Kobe Bryant's getting the ball. You know that. Oh, on the Hawks, Joe Johnson's getting the ball. You know that. Yeah. Oh, Melo's getting the ball. You know that. LeBron's getting. That was that time. Tracy McGrady. That was that time of that style of play. And for a guy who shot the ball as much as Kobe, I think he was pretty efficient for a guy who shot it. And considering the defenses that he went against. So, yeah, like you said, 14 and 15-year-olds, they didn't really see Kobe. So the first thing they do is they go to the numbers. Oh, they go to the numbers. Oh, no. Look, his percentage. Boy, shut your ass up. People feared Kobe on the court. Like,
yeah, they like, wild.
If NBA players are saying, no, Kobe was that guy. Kobe was that guy. I had the toughest time guarding Kobe. Why am I going to believe you, who's sitting at home, 13 years old, telling me, oh, well, Steph Curry shoots a little better? I'm not trying to hear that. The disrespect that Kobe gets is wild. Like, just his approach to the game, the skill level. I remember I think he had broke his hand or something, and he was shooting left-handed for a whole game. Like, do you know, like, how much skill and practice goes to that? Like, this is not something you just wake up and do.
Kobe was prepared for any moment. Like, when you can, like, when you see these great players and they show you, like, the random moments or highlights that you may have forgot about, it brings that nostalgia of why you do hold them in such high regard. Why you look at them and you think, okay, yeah, this was the best player of my generation. Like, he's the Kobe, he's the Jordan of our generation. Like, I didn't get to watch all of MJ. I watched a little bit towards the end of his career. Obviously, go back and watch YouTube clips or hardwood classics and things like that. But it's different when you get to grow up and you day in and day out. We see Kobe go on the long stretch of, for a month, I'm an average 40. Something like similar to what we saw with Harden. Like, that's just next level stuff. And you appreciate that greatness when you're living in it, like in the moment. So, I mean, looking at some of these numbers, when Kobe got to play in, some of the era that nowadays, his last year, right before he went down with his torn Achilles, when he, willed the Lakers to the playoffs, he played 78 games. He shot 46%. He shot 20 times per game, and he shot 33% from three, which are efficient numbers. And he shot 20 times per game. That's one of his lowest marks of his career. Like, especially, around that time. He was getting them shots up around there. And he still averaged 27 points per game, 6 assists, and 5.6 rebounds. So, like, if you look at it, if he would have been playing in today's era, he would have had a lot more assists, a lot more rebounds, just because the game's so much more open. and more points as well, probably because with that spacing, who's guarding Kobe 1-on-1? Like honestly, who's guarding Kobe 1-on-1?
Bruh, literally, the question I was forming, I was about to say, who's guarding Kobe? Like, who is in this league where you can't touch nobody, where like it's hands free? Who is guarding that man? Like, there wasn't a shot that. Like, I'm gonna be real. Like, when I would watch the Lakers play back in the day, and you know, me and you growing up always playing basketball, there wasn't a shot that I didn't think Kobe would make. Like, three, okay, that's good. Fade away. Like, now, those type of shots that Kobe took, people look at them as bad shots. Oh, long twos. Nobody wants to see that. And I got it. The game has changed. It's either three or layup. But you have to understand that basketball changes like every decade. Like, it changes. It changes. Yeah. And during that time, those were good shots. As long the mid-range, like they always say, the mid-range game is dead. That was nothing like with Kobe. Kobe was killing the mid-range all the time. One of the best mid-range shooters of all time, in my opinion. So, I mean, to see the amount of the way people look down upon Kobe's career, and then they try to hit me with this, oh, well, he had Shaq, blah, blah, blah. So I'd be like, okay, so how many rings did Shaq have before he teamed up with Kobe?
Exactly.
Because he had Penny Hardaway.
Exactly, yeah, exactly.
I'm saying, though.
Yeah,
and that was a younger, more spry Shaq. Now, granted, he wasn't old when he got to L.A. I'm not saying that. He was still clearly in his prime. But what I'm saying is Shaq had Penny Hardaway before he got to L.A., never won a ring. He got to L.A., won his rings with Kobe, where Kobe played a vital part in that. Nobody likes to bring that up for some reason. I don't know why. They act like Kobe was just along for the ride. Like, I mean, the dude was having, hold on, I got to get his stats because
they're going to disrespect. When he won those first 3 rings, the first year he averaged 21 points.
Yep.
The second year, 29.4. The third year, 26.6. So, like, he was doing his thing. Don't act like Kobe was riding the coattails of nobody. And we all know who the closer was in these games. Like, nobody was giving Shaq the ball to close. Like, he was like, yeah, he did his free throws in the clutch, but you don't give the ball to Shaq the last 5 minutes of the game and be like, all right, we're just going to keep dumping it down to him because it's just not efficient basketball in those type of moments. And that's what playoff basketball is about, and that's what separates, you know, the people that do win rings and people that don't win rings, having that closer on the court. Like, you have to have that, and Kobe was that for Shaq. Like, Penny Hardaway, he's one of my favorite players of all time, but he's just not that. He's not Kobe. He's not the closer that Kobe is. And, I mean, as soon as it's Kobe's 4th year in the league, he wins his first ring and then he three-peats. Like, even if you have Shaq, that's still difficult to do, and you got to give my man some respect on that.
And just when you look at Kobe as a whole, I mean, 81 points in a game, fam. And granted, look, Jalen Rose and the Raptors, I'm sorry. Okay, I have to bring this up. But you let one man get 81 points in a game? We may never see that again. Now, we're in the time of offense, and we may never see one guy like if you had. I'm trying to think of who could I realistically see challenging that.
Devin Booker, he already got 70. So
yeah, Devin Booker did get 70.
If he really, I mean, they was trying actually. They was trying to get 81, but. KD. Well, sorry to say KD now, but Harden,
James.
Steph.
He got Westbrook as a teammate now. They're gonna have to split them points.
Right, yeah, you're gonna have to score quick too, and that's the only thing with James. He doesn't exactly score quick. I'm thinking Steph. I'm thinking who else is out there? There's some young guys out there that could do it. Great scorers. Luka, nah,
he's not.
Trae Young, maybe Trae Young.
Trae Young, maybe like a Dame Lillard.
It may not happen. It may not happen.
It may not happen again. And like I said, we're in the league of points. You know what I'm saying? This was a time where like hand checking. We have already talked about how the defense was different then and now. So to me, when you look at a guy like Kobe Bryant who played 20 years, 5-time NBA champion. He was on 12 all defensive teams. I mean, this dude did it on both. Some people forget that. People forget how good of a defender he was for a while. It's like
locking folks up.
Yeah, it's like people totally forget that. I'm like, yo, where how old are you? Like, I'm mad that I'm at the age now where I have to ask somebody how old they are before we get into a basketball debate. Yeah. Because just as much insults that I see Kobe getting, and it's always the same. And then here's what kills me even more. This kills me. Why all of a sudden? And look, don't get it twisted. I am thankful for everything that Pau Gasol did for the Lakers. I am thankful for it. He was the clear-cut number 2. He was great in the playoffs, but everybody forgets that first year he came to LA and we made the finals and got our ass kicked by the Celtics. They weren't blaming Kobe. I was talking about how soft Pau Gasol looked compared to Kevin Garnett.
Oh yeah, I remember that. I remember that time.
He was getting bullied by Kevin Garnett. Everybody forgets that. So it wasn't like, oh well, Gasol came and people are giving. I don't want to say giving too much praise to Pau Gasol, but they're diminishing Kobe so much it makes it seem that way. Like, yo,
right, Pau Gasol.
I
Pau Gasol.
Pau Gasol was great, and we had Andrew Bynum. That's people's favorite argument. Oh, well, you had Gasol and Bynum, 2 7-footer. I mean, I get it, fam, but
Bynum wasn't it. He wasn't.
Yeah, bro, they weren't carrying the type of weight you think they carrying, man. Like, Kobe was that guy for a reason. There's a reason. When people got on the court, they knew there was one person they weren't stopping. I can tell you that much. I can tell you that much. No one had any smoke for Kobe. I don't want to hear about Ruben Patterson, the Kobe stopper, quote unquote. I don't want to hear about Shane Battier. I don't want to hear about who else. What's that dude named that clothesline Kobe? Raja Bell.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to hear none of that. None of them dudes had shit on Kobe. Dude averaged 25 points for his. And then my favorite thing to hear. Well, he was a ball hog. He didn't pass. Damn. Kobe averaged 1 assist less than Michael Jordan. And I don't ever hear nobody talk about Michael Jordan's lack of passing. I never hear it. Kobe's high on the I think he's the highest on the shooting guard list as far as assists. I could be wrong. We could check that later. But my point is he's up there. The dude was an all-around type player, and I understand that he did take a lot of bad shots. Now, I will say this.
Best tough shot maker ever.
Yeah, as I've gotten older, I realized, okay, Kobe did take bad shots.
He was wild.
he was definitely wild, and he used to take some crazy shots. But at the same time,
that's why you love Kobe.
Is there anybody else in the league you're confident would make those shots other than Kobe at the time? It wasn't, bro. It wasn't. It wasn't a soul. Like, if I saw Kobe take a fadeaway 16-foot jumper, I felt pretty good about that. I felt pretty damn good about that. And I get it. We're in a league where everybody's looking at efficiency and stats are the big thing. But sometimes, man, when it comes down to ball, it's not always about the stats, man.
Just get the dub.
Yeah.
Just get the dub.
Yeah, just get the dub. He's going to go out there and win. Why do you think Kobe was key on that Olympic run? Kobe made big shots. He always took the best players. Like,
I say, and Wade's prime, and when LeBron was kind of entering his prime, he was the guy. Like, everybody knew on the team. Everybody, if I like during that day, this is one of the highlights I watched. I watched that Team USA when they played, I guess, blue versus white, and Kobe. I mean, LeBron was doing his thing, but those last couple minutes, like in the clutch, it was Kobe. Like Kobe,
you know what time it is.
He was hitting the tough shots and everything. Well, one thing people have to realize about that shot argument is, like, we've had these side by side comparisons where we see, oh yeah, they did average the same amount of points throughout this playoff run. Like when they played the 76ers during that run, they lost one game. Like they were 15 or 16-1. So like when you go do that in the playoffs, it's not just one player. So it's definitely not just Shaq. And then another thing, when he get to the finals, the East just never had a center that could like mess with the Shaq. But in order to get to that point, they had to get through teams like the Spurs, the Kings, and things like that. So in getting that, like they actually had centers that could, hold Shaq, not allow him to just drop 35 on demand. But the East couldn't hold it. So that's why he does have all 3 Finals MVPs. But in order to get to that moment, you did have to have Kobe there. Kobe did have to carry that team during certain stretches. And that's one thing, I guess you had to be livid or go back and watch it, but a lot of people aren't willing to do that. And they just look at it, oh, Shaq, he's a lot of people say he's the most dominant force ever, and he won 3 rings and helped Kobe. He carried Kobe to 3 rings. That's the way they're going to look at it. But, I mean, with all this we saying, I hope people do go back and do their research, do their due diligence, and know why Kobe is held to, top 10 player at the very least, like, and people that actually got to see him play. Yeah, but let's get into the next part, man. What's some of your favorite Kobe moments, man?
So some of my personal favorite Kobe moments. The first one that comes to mind it's more of a Laker moment, but I just consider it to Kobe. The championship over the Celtics in 2010, fam, that was just such a pinnacle for me. Just because the way we went out to the Celtics 2 years earlier, like I remember the way we lost. It was a dunk show. Like Leon Poe was dunking. Like they was killing us. And then so next year, I knew we was gonna take care of the Magic. I wasn't worried about that. My bad, Marlon. But the next year to go back up, have to face the Celtics again, and for it to go 7 games, and then for Kobe. And to me, a lot of people will probably use this as a negative towards him, to not have one of your better games doing what you do best, scoring.
Oh, yeah.
In a game 7 against the Celtics, who were the best defensive team in the league, but to go out and still get, I think he had 17 rebounds.
Yeah, he did.
Rebounds, something like that. And he still hit some tough shots at the end of the game. That was one of my favorite moments. Another favorite moment with me, it was I think it was 2013. That was the year Kobe. We had Mike D'Antoni, Dwight Howard. Kobe hit so many game winners that year. He hit game winners against like almost every team, and it was literally because he didn't like the offense that D'Antoni was trying to run because it didn't fit our personnel. I still don't know why he did that to this day. So Kobe took it upon himself and willed us all the way to the playoffs. Obviously, this ended up being his last, hurrah. Right. But that, to me, that year stuck out to me. Just seeing him doing what he has to do, just hitting fadeaways. Another favorite moment of me is when I remember one time he was coming through the lane, 2 people on him, faked it up, went under, threw it off the backboard, caught it, and laid it back up over Yao Ming, fam. Like, Kobe has some crazy
creativity, man.
He had another one where he threw the ball. He got stuck kind of like down by the baseline, threw it off the dude's butt, and it went to his teammate and then laid it up for an assist, bro. Like, Kobe has so many crazy moments. One of my other favorite moments when he dunked on Chris Paul. We was playing.
Oh yeah, that was.
It was a fast break, fam, and I was
that one live.
Yeah, I seen that one live, fam, and look. I had nothing against Chris Paul. I knew it wasn't his fault he wasn't a Laker, but it was his fault he wasn't a Laker that day. And it got on the fast break, and I swear I thought Kobe was just going to lay it up. No, sir. Pulled that shit back and dunked all over Chris Paul, man. So those are just some of my favorite moments. Oh, one I have to mention, I cannot forget. The game against Phoenix in the playoffs that went to overtime, even though we lost the series because Kobe wanted to prove a point and stop shooting. And I know y'all going to hold that against him, but I ain't hearing it. That game, winner in overtime, was crazy. That was one of my favorite Kobe moments ever. Come on, dog. Everybody says Kobe when they shoot. When they shoot a paper ball into a trash can, when you shoot anything, they say Kobe. Period, point blank, man. So,
they trying to shift it over to Steph, but it ain't got the same type of ring.
It ain't the same. It ain't the same. It's Kobe for shooting and it's Moss for catching. Y'all know that.
Right.
What about you?
Obviously you gotta go with the last game of his career. 60 points, man. Like, to go out like that, and the thing is, like, with all these games, all these crazy games he usually puts up, he's getting the W at the same time. So that's another thing with the whole efficiency argument and everything. As long as you win the game, I can get over you're not shooting 50% from the floor. You're shooting 45. Like, ooh, big whoop. But as long as you win the game and you doing your thing, that's all I care about. So in that last game of his career, I mean, we saw everything that Kobe kind of embodied. We knew he was going to shoot the ball a hell of a time. I believe he shot 50 times, but he did shoot pretty good from the floor. He's shooting a lot more threes. I guess he's kind of adjusting to the game today. We saw him play a good amount of defense, and we saw that run near the end of the game where he kind of just willed the team to victory. They were down, I believe, like the last 6-7 minutes, but somehow Kobe, he turned up that last couple of minutes. He got some of that body armor. Is that what it's called? That drink he got sponsored. Got some of that in his system, and he toughed out that last 8 minutes. And I mean, he ain't looked back since then. I know he probably dread that last game because he definitely left it all on the floor that night. But that's definitely one of my favorite moments. Like I already mentioned, when he averaged 40 for a month, that was special. That was a special time in the league. I don't know how he only has one MVP. That's just ridiculous in my opinion. But
Steve Nash, Rob,
he's a 2-time MVP, but I think Kobe got one, and does Shaq have one or two? I believe he has one as well. So like something has to give. One of them at least gotta have two. So that was just a bad vote during that time. But also when Shaq fouled out in that 2000 series against the Pacers.
Yep.
He fouled out with I believe about 6 minutes left in overtime, and Kobe just kind of took over from there, and that was kind of where we already knew what Kobe was, but he really established himself as far as this whole argument of I need Shaq. He can do what he needs to do, and at such a young age for him to do that, I believe he was probably like 21, 22 at the time, and to do that on the biggest stage of the league and just take over that game, that was definitely special. And then my last moment, the 62 points and 3/4. You got that, you got 81, but 62 and 3/4 was special as well against the Mavs. A game like that, I think he should have played that fourth quarter. What do you think as a coach? Would you play your guy on a special night like that, or do you lean towards the rest and let's not run it up against the team? Like, what would you do if you was the coach? Do you let him play out?
If I'm Phil, it depends on Kobe. I ask Kobe, what you want to do? You trying to break Will's record? What you trying to do? I'm gonna let you do it. That was he was in the midst of his prime of scoring. At that point, he was in the midst of it, so I probably wasn't too worried about injury or anything. I probably would have let him finish that out. 62 and 3/4, that's pretty damn special, and we saw what he did the next night, so who knows what could have happened.
Yeah, I say when Kobe gets in the zone like that, I feel like you said, consult with the player, just be like, hey, just don't get hurt out there. Don't. Obviously, when you go out on the court, you're not even thinking about it, but definitely put that in the back of his mind. Don't go out there and try and dunk on anybody and twist your ankle or something like that. But
all fadeaways, baby.
I say, yeah, just do what you do, Kobe. I say on a night like that, he hitting from the floor. But hey, I gotta get into something, man. I gotta get something off my chest. I've been throughout the last month. It's been a lot of bickering, going back and forth. I started off. This is where it all started. So give some people some background. It all started on Twitter. We got tagged in some type of post, and they were ranking shooting guards all the time, right? Mm-hmm. So I gave my list, and I believe they're doing top 5s, but for some reason I gave a top 10. Hey, when I talk basketball, I love to talk basketball. So if I'm gonna get into it, I'm gonna get into it. So I gave my top 10, and I said Reggie Miller wasn't in my top 10. So I got a lot of flack of that, and some people saying he's top 5, he's better than James Harden, he's right behind Dwayne Wade as like the 4th best shooting guard, which blew my damn mind. Like that's like the old heads on Twitter was out for that one. That definitely wasn't on young people. But I saw that, and then I was arguing with my boys last week on Instagram, one of our Instagram chats that we got, and we were talking about Reggie Miller again. Somehow he came up, and I was just saying. Oh, yeah, because some highlight I got posted about Tayshaun Prince and Reggie Miller. And Tayshaun Prince came out of nowhere and chased down Reggie Miller shit because he went out with some type of soft layup. And I was like, oh, this would never happen to like a top 10 shooting guard. So that kind of got us arguing about that. And I got to get this off my chest. And I think people that really have watched some basketball and do their research, if you disagree, if you can prove to me that he deserves to be a top 10 shooting guard, I'm willing to listen to it. I'm willing to debate this, but I don't believe Reggie Miller's a top 10 shooting guard all the time. I don't even think that's close. If you ask me, Reggie Miller, he's like a light-skinned Michael Redd. Like that's what Reggie Miller is to me. Light-skinned
Michael Redd.
Yeah, that's what Reggie Miller is to me. Like I got my list of shooting guards right here.
Okay, yeah, that's what you need. Give us the list.
All right, so number 1, I got MJ, Kobe, Wade, Harden, Jerry West. That's my top 5.
Okay.
And then to round it out, I got Iverson, Clyde Drexler, Klay Thompson, George Gervin, T-Mac. So that's what I had for my top 10. And the reason I put all them at shooting guards, some people are gonna say he was a point guard or he was a small forward and things like that. But I went by a Basketball Reference, and okay. If you look at it, Iverson, he was a shooting guard during his time. He didn't. He had the ball in his hands, but he played shooting guard. And if people that want to debate that and things like that, the way you get your position, I'm not sure if people know, the way you get your position on the court, on the way they label your position is by your position that you play on the court. Like where are you situated? Are you on the wing? Are you on the block? Are you at the top of the key and things like that? So that's why people get labeled as point guard, shooting guards, and all that, such and such. For people that don't know, but That's what I have for my top 10. And I mean, I have some other guys up here as well that I'm willing to debate. But Reggie Miller is nowhere top 10 shooting guard to me. If I look at it, like I said, he's just not. I mean, he's a dog. I give him that. He is a dog. But he's averaging 18, 2, and 2 for his career. And if I'm looking at that, I mean, we have already alluded to you just can't look at numbers.
Right.
But it's not like Reggie Miller was a stellar defender.
Okay.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. He wasn't a stellar defender. He's a great shooter. I'm not going to argue that point. I mean, we already know he's top 5 shooter all the time. No debate about that. Probably top 3 or something. You have that argument if you want. But as a player, I don't believe he's better than anybody just named in that top 10. I even said I take Joe Dumars over Reggie Miller.
Okay.
Give me Devin Booker. Give me Bradley Beal. Give me DeMar DeRozan.
All right, hold on. All right, hold on. Let's just hold on. Let's bring it back. Let's just focus on that. Let's not get crazy, okay? Because first off, I don't want. I know it's harder to compare players now to them because players obviously now are more skilled. I got that. So first, let me get to your first point. I have no problem with you keeping him out of your top 10, but you have T-Mac in your top 10.
Yeah.
How does T-Mac make your top 10?
What do you mean? How does T-Mac? I mean, we watched T-Mac. Come on now. We watched
T-Mac, but I mean, okay. I think Reggie Miller has him longevity-wise. I think Reggie Miller definitely has him there. He was definitely a better shooter, 3rd all time. Reggie Miller's been to a finals before. T-Mac has gotten how far in the playoffs?
Okay, that's fair. That's fair argument.
I mean, that's the only thing. That was the only thing. Everybody else you named, obviously Jordan, Kobe, Wade, Iverson, Drexler, Jervin. What'd you say? Ray Allen. Who else did you say?
I said Clyde, Clay.
Yeah. I have no problem with all of them above him. I think someone could have an argument that you could put Reggie Miller above T-Mac. Just simply. Go
ahead. How about Jerry West? Were you good with that?
Oh, yeah, Jerry West definitely. Even though some people would argue he was a point guard, he kind of played both. But I mean, definitely Jerry West would be over him. Jerry West would be in my top 5 easily. It would probably be my top 5 would probably be Jordan, Kobe. I'm gonna go Wade.
What?
Right, go Wade. Now Wade has more rings.
Yeah, I feel you.
Wade has more rings, but West has that resume.
I can respect that. Yeah, I can respect that.
Yeah, that resume kind of crazy for West, and even though obviously, like we say, we didn't see this guy play, but I like to give respect where respect's due. Then you have Iverson, Drexler,
James Harden.
Oh no! I forgot about him. Yeah, I would definitely have Harden ahead of Reggie Miller. He's definitely better than him. Harden.
People were trying to argue me that point. There's no way in hell Reggie Miller is better.
James Harden is better.
Than everything except for maybe shooting. Like, okay, maybe, and that's
and pure shooting at that. But as a scorer, there's people who will make the argument that Harden. I've seen people trying to make the argument Harden's a better scorer than Jordan. So if that's an argument. It's not really an argument whether Harden's a better scorer than Reggie Miller.
He's a better passer.
He's definitely a better passer, but obviously the league is different. So that's a lot of people's argument. Yeah. It's the league. The league is so much different. Like Reggie Miller, I think he averaged shooting like 4.7 threes a game. Yeah, if he was playing in the league now, he would get a lot more ups.
About 10, probably about 10, 12 a game. He'd be in that.
So those numbers would be higher. Those numbers would definitely be higher, but
I hear that, but I don't think it'd be anything crazy. I mean, like I said, I do my research. I look things up. I compare. Michael Redd is a perfect comparison for my boy, man.
I got a question. For you then. I got a question.
Go ahead.
So you got to pick one for your team, and tell me who's better, Reggie Miller or Klay Thompson.
Klay Thompson, no doubt.
Just like that.
No doubt. Give me Klay Thompson. Not 9 days throughout the week. Like 9 days throughout the week. Reggie may take one of them, but give me Klay Thompson. He's there's nothing that Reggie Miller does on the floor better than Klay Thompson.
Reggie's definitely regarded as one of the most clutch players of all time. He's definitely regarded as that.
Klay Thompson not clutch?
I didn't say that.
Nah, Klay Thompson not clutch.
I didn't say he was not clutch.
He's definitely a better defender than Reggie. Like he's
Oh
miles
yeah,
ahead.
yeah, yeah. Definitely.
So I mean, if we talking about clutch, I mean that's cool. But when Reggie went to the one year he did go to the finals, Jalen Rose played better than him in that finals, I believe. Like I said, that was one of the finals I did watch. Reggie shot 1 for 16 that game one. Like he played terrible. Like I mean, he did get there. I mean, there's something to be said about that. But shoot 1 for 16 the first game of the series. I mean, how your teammates looking at you? Jalen Rose was balling throughout that series. So I mean, the one time he got there, he averaged. Let me see. He averaged 24, 2 and 2. Those are CJ McCollum numbers. Like that's actually disrespectful to CJ McCollum. Let me not even do that. Nah, that's Chris Middleton numbers. I'm sorry. Sorry, CJ.
I would tell you this. Your take is not crazy. I don't think it's crazy. I think Reggie Miller falls somewhere in that 8 to 12 range. I think he's somewhere in there.
Give me Joe Dumars. Go ahead.
Yeah, you got Joe Dumars in there. You got like even some people, Sidney Moncrief, some people would say, Earl Monroe. Like there's some people out there that we ain't even touched.
Yeah.
Vince Carter. Yeah. We want to talk. Is Vince a shooting guard?
I think he labels as a shooting guard for sure.
I mean, those.
I don't know if he's right. Reggie. I mean, that's a good argument.
I mean, Vince has some years too. I mean, it's tough. But what I will say is, for those people you arguing with who think, first off, Reggie Miller's not top 5. Let's just go ahead and get that. No. Let's go ahead and get that put to bed. He's not better than Jordan. He's not better than Kobe. He's not better than D Wade. He's not better than Jerry West. Whoever you got at 5th, where you have Iverson, Harden, where you have George Gervin. I don't think he's better than them. I think your best argument anybody can make for Reggie Miller at this point is probably, I wouldn't even say 8. I'm gonna take. Dang, you got me. You convincing me. Damn.
That's because it's valid. Like it's valid. Like come on. Like Reggie wasn't that hard. Like
what's his accolades? I gotta look at some accolades. He
doesn't have that many accolades. Like it's really just.
He's a great shooter. 5-time All-Star, 3-time All-NBA. Does not have a lot of accolades.
JJ Redick was giving you Reggie Miller numbers the last 2 years.
All right, man, get out of here. All right, relax.
18, 2 and 2. Look
down.
18, 2 and 2.
It's a different league.
He does exactly what Reggie Miller does, though. Run around screens. I mean, Reggie, he got a little bit, obviously a little bit more off the dribble than JJ, but he's doing the same thing. 18, 2 and 2. How you average 2 and 2 and I'm supposed to put you up there with people that they do other things on the basketball court other than just shoot. True. Obviously being a specialist, I mean, him being a specialist and him being a dog is like what puts him even in this, type of argument, top 15, top 10. But if you really break it down, I don't see how you really say he's top 10. Like it's just nostalgia, I think. For a lot of people, that did, I guess grow up watching Reggie and just saw the Knicks game and things like that. But hey, for every Knicks game, I can name you a crazy moment. Oh, Clay going for 60. I can name T-Mac going for 13 or however many points and however many seconds. Like it's just a moment for everything. And Iceman, he gets you 30 at the drop of a hat down there. So it's just a man that averaged 18, 2 and 2. Don't tell me he's the second best shooting or top 10 shooting guard all time. I had to get that off, man. But
all right, look, your take is not wild. Your take is definitely not wild, and I agree with that nostalgia, Jane. I definitely agree with that because that goes for a lot of players and a lot of other debates. We ain't gonna get into it, but that argument could be used for a lot. But Reggie, man, I hate to disrespect you, dog, but I think my boy David got you.
Oh yeah, I mean, Oladipo's gonna be a better pacer than Reggie Miller.
All right, look, David. Look,
I'm speaking facts, man. I'm speaking facts.
Look, I'll just say this. Let's see it happen first. Let's see it happen. Let's not just jump the gun. But I would say if I had to rank Reggie Miller somewhere right now in my top 10, because I'm kind of, like I said, before we started, guys, my computer crashed, so my list, everything's gone. But I'm just kind of winging it. If I had to put Reggie Miller somewhere right now, looking at these shooting guards, I'm going to move him down. Because I'll admit, my guy David, his argument is convincing. He doesn't have a lot of accolades, doesn't have a ring to show for it.
Yeah.
Averaged 18 for his career, 3 rebounds, 3 assists. did shoot 40% for three from his career. That's he's definitely one of the best shooters of all time. Yeah. And like I was saying earlier, he was third on that list, all-time three-pointers made as of right now. Or was he second? Was I say
he's second right now. Steph, you said you got about 100 or so. So Steph will probably get that.
Steph will probably pass him
by December for sure. So
I think what it is, Reggie Miller got messing with Spike Lee. I think it's the moments that people remember about Reggie Miller that he peaked him so high, but I'm gonna put him somewhere in that. I'm sorry.
I actually forgot somebody. Hold on, I just forgot. I forgot Ray Allen. Ray Allen is better than Reggie Miller.
Yeah, Allen. I will put Allen above Reggie Miller too. I think Ray Allen's a better version of Reggie Miller.
Yeah. Like he was a lot more harder than Reggie. Like he did other things on the court. You could take it to the Reggie was really tough. Not Reggie. Ray was really tough in his in Milwaukee, Seattle days. That's when he was really, going out there doing his thing.
Now they did average about the same amount of points for their career.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Ray played those, those garbage years.
Yeah,
brought down that average.
I would still give the edge to Ray Allen. He's a better version. Definitely, he hit more threes than dudes. So he was definitely the better. I'm gonna put Reggie somewhere in that 10 to 15 range. I'm gonna agree with you, bro. I'm not going to put Reggie in my top 10 either. I just think there's too many people I can make arguments for that could be over them that even if maybe they say they weren't better than him, at least they got the hardware. You know what I'm saying?
Right. The accolade, where your all-star games, where your all NBA teams, defensive teams, things like that. And I'm going to keep saying it. What else does he do on the court other than shoot? And there is something about a specialist, and they all have a part in the NBA and they're great, but you got to do other things on the court other than, just those types of things. Like even Clay, he wouldn't be as great if he wasn't a great defender. Like the fact that he is a great defender probably makes the Warriors kind of what they are. Without having him on the floor with Steph, you giving up a lot of buckets back there. You're not allowed to hide Steph on defense and things like that. So it's something to be said about doing other things on the court. And I mean, for somebody that does score, you got to give me more than 18 a game for your career. And the highest you've ever averaged was 24.6. And I mean, yeah, you could say his attempts, they need to go higher, but I mean, that's kind of on him. That's kind of on him. You need to shoot the ball more. John Stockton has that issue. Steve Nash kind of had that issue where they weren't as aggressive as they should be, but I mean, they were at least, distributing the ball and other things like that. So yeah, I had to get that off my chest, man. I had to get Reggie up out of here.
Look, that's not crazy though. So you know what? I want y'all to tell us where y'all have Reggie Miller in your not all-time player list, but all-time shooting guard list. Where do you have Reggie Miller? I'm eager to see what I think we're gonna see. What we're gonna see is a lot of old heads are gonna have him higher, and the new age cats gonna have him a little bit lower.
Oh yeah. Bradley Beal, come on, he's better than Reggie Miller. Tell me what Reggie Miller does better on the court than Bradley.
Look.
I'm being complete.
I hope to get big one day in sports. So if
I'm giving you the when I say these things, I may laugh about it a little bit, but I'm dead serious about it. I'm dead serious about Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, Luka Doncic. They're all gonna they may not be there right now,
right?
But we all know they will be better than Reggie Miller. Luka Doncic rookie year is better than any year Reggie Miller's ever had. Dead ass.
Hey, look. I'm not arguing with you. I'm just gonna say, hey, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens, yo. Look, I can't argue with half the shit you said because Reggie Miller. We've looked at the stats, we've looked at the hardware, and there's a lack, and I can't really speak from a place like I can with Kobe because I didn't see a lot of Reggie Miller, even though he played till I think 2005. That was. I had just started watching basketball maybe 4 years earlier than that, and I wasn't watching Reggie Miller games.
It's like the 90s. That's when you had to watch Reggie.
That's when he was really thriving. So I don't really have an argument, but we would love for you guys to give your input on that. Tell us where you got Reggie Miller ranked, and tell us what you love about Kobe Bryant. We still... But that's all we got for this episode, guys. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Dave, you got anything to say to the people before we bounce?
Nah, hey, come on with the debates, man. I can back up anything I say up here. If I say it, I mean it. All right, just know that.
Hey, look, you heard my dog. Come on with the debates, man. If y'all give us a good one, we'll bring it on here and we'll duke it out, man. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Here's the Deal.